Welcome to Nutty Buddy Entertainment.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nutty Buddy Entertainment. I'm your host, Ryan. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We're going to talk about some Thor, Love and Thunder instant reaction review. And this will be a very short video. We will do the great, the good, the bad, and the ugly with this movie. I probably want to also get together with Brian before that, and maybe we'll do another podcast, see his thoughts, which I'm kind of curious about. But let's just start with my initial reaction, a general review, and then I'll get into some specifics just very, very briefly. This ain't going to be a super long video. Overall, now I loved Thor Ragnarok, but this movie was a little over the top for me. It just wasn't my favorite. I was a little disappointed. I wasn't really expecting anything. I didn't have expectations, but one of the things that I thought about this movie as I was watching it is the jokes were a little over the top, as far as like not just it was like the quantity and the quality of the jokes were just like all too much for me personally. It was fun, but I don't know, like when you watch a movie and you're just like, okay, I don't have to take it seriously. And I just think that there are some movies you don't have to take seriously, like Dodgeball or Step Brothers or stuff like that. But like in the MCU, I just feel like there's moments where like you should have to take moments seriously and these characters seriously. And throughout the entire movie, I didn't feel like the movie took itself seriously. So I really didn't either. Now there were some like good things. I think Jane and Thor, they nailed it. Their relationship, that was great. So if you're like into that, I think you'll like this movie. Gore the God Butcher, I'm a big guy. Like as far as like villains go, I think he was a really well done villain. Christian Bale nailed it. I also thought that his motivation was very, very strong, a good motivator to create a villain. But in the end, I won't give my rating until we do the great, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but I'm leaning towards like 5. I'm not going to go watch it in the theaters again. I'll probably see it on Disney Plus one more time. But overall, I just thought this movie itself was a little disappointing for me personally. But I hope everybody, watching or listening, you guys liked it. I really do, because nothing's worse than being excited about your guy, your superhero, and then being disappointed in their movie. And don't let me damper your zeal. But let me get into some specific things that I liked and didn't like about this movie. Let's start with so spoilers from here on out. Let's just start with some things I did like. Again, I did like Jane and Thor. And what I liked about Jane story, they went off the comic book. She did have cancer, ultimately leading to her her death. And the entire story behind that, of like her and Thor realizing how much they loved each other and how much they wished they spent time together, and then like finding out how the hammer was really kind of helping kill her because it made her mortal self vulnerable. But yet that hammer was needed in order to get Jane into Valhalla. That's basically how Mjolnir saved Jane. The hammer, Mjolnir, made Jane Asgardian so that she could live in Valhalla. And I thought that was a really neat sort of story for her. And her and Thor, I should really say Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth, their chemistry on screen was really good. So their relationship was one of the high points in this movie. And I thought even the mighty Thor, I don't want to call her Lady Thor because she'd get upset at me, but the mighty Thor, she was done very well as well. I didn't think she was like, like there's some people worried about, agendas and politics and stuff like that. the point is, I didn't think she overpowered Thor. I just think they needed each other in order to win this fight. And her sacrificing herself ultimately to save Thor and help save the kids, because that was her goal, really, was very powerful. So I really liked the Thor and the Mighty Thor story in this movie. Now, I did also like Gore the God Butcher. He was his daughter died as he was trying to obey his god. Like he prayed to his god. Now we know gods in the MCU are just aliens with powers, and these powerful aliens get worshipped by various planets, various people, which I was kind of curious what planet Gore is from. I don't think we ever got that, but I guess that really doesn't matter. But his daughter dies, and then somehow he runs into his god. I didn't quite get that. Um, that his god just appeared to him, and then he gets the necromancer's sword, and basically he's like, I'm going to kill all gods, which a really cool like motivator. Not that he lost his daughter, but you can empathize with him, you can sympathize with him. So because his god kind of abandoned him in his mind, and his god was kind of like crazy and kooky, he had that lust for revenge, not just to his god, because that's just not enough, but to all gods. I would have loved to seen him on screen more, especially like when you saw where Sif was, how he killed the god on that planet. I would have loved to seen that, just to make him more of a credible threat throughout the movie. But not that he wasn't, but I'd rather see, not hear about him being a threat, if that makes sense. That was a little disappointing. And then his end goal about the infinite, I didn't really like that either, or his redemption. I'm sorry, I don't need all my villains to have redemptions. That's one thing that I think Hela does not get enough credit for. Like Hela, Thanos, those types of villains that are just like evil, even though they like, Thanos has a better um uh reason to be evil. Hela doesn't, she just power hungry basically. But I just like that the villains don't have redemption stories. That's something that I don't think like the MCU, well, they did before, but now they have gone away from. And I really wish that they would just kind of stick to that once in a while. And the Gore the God Butcher should have not. I mean, the ending with the infinite and stuff like that. I think that's what he was. The character was called the Infinite. It was a little over the top for me. A couple other things that I didn't like. Let me just quickly run down them. Didn't like the Infinite storyline. I know I mentioned that, but specifically the fact that one wish can be granted, but it's only one wish, no matter who it is, just one wish. Very convenient. I didn't need that. There's characters I think in comics that just don't need to be brought in to the MCU, like that they're just kind of too outlandish. This character to be a little outlandish for my liking. I just don't need that kind of character in the MCU. If you like them, that's fine. The kids, whether it was, and I'll get more specific when we do our podcast and the great, the good, the bad and ugly review, but the kids becoming like Thor was a really silly to me. Didn't like that. Didn't like the end with Stormbreaker and his new girl. I love that he got someone else to love. I didn't like the ending where she's carrying Stormbreaker and running into battle. I don't know. It was a little silly to me. Everything with the kids being able to fight, too silly. It's too outlandish for my liking. But maybe that wasn't made for me. Maybe you liked it. That a little outlandish for me. And then finally, anything with the other gods was just, I don't know. I felt like they kind of took Grandmaster from Ragnarok and put him in Zeus's body. That's all I'll say about that. I'll get more specific later, but I just didn't like the gods in this movie, and it really took me out of the movie a lot. And them continually mention orgies. It's like, okay, we get it. You're funny. Like I felt like there was a chance here to sort of show why these powerful beings were at one time worshipped. And one thing I really liked about Moon Knight was when we saw the gods talk and they're like, listen, we didn't abandon people, they abandoned us first. So because they abandoned us, we abandoned them, so to speak. And I really wish they would have played off that theme with the rest of the gods, including in this movie. I really do. At the end, there was 2 end credit scenes. One was when Zeus sends Hercules, I think, to go and bring order, it sounds like. But he said, I'm tired of everyone looking at us as a joke. Basically, that's what Zeus said. Like, I'm tired of being a joke. And it's like, dude, you're a joke. Like, you're a joke because you act like a joke. I mean, the movie made him a joke. I just I didn't understand that end credit scene at all, because like you are a joke. So that's why people look at you like you're a joke. I didn't get that. And then I think that's all I'm going to touch on. But I was just very disappointed in the way they were portrayed in this movie. And just, again, the comedy was way over the top for me. So that's my initial reaction to it. I'm going to leave again my rating for the podcast when we do the great and the good, the bad, and the ugly for Thor, Love and Thunder. But I'm leaning towards like a 5. That's what I'm leaning towards. I think this is better than Dark World, but I like the first Thor better, and Ragnarok is way up there compared to this movie, in my opinion. But anyway, thanks for listening to this short review. I hope you guys like the movie. I really do, because someone's got to like it, right? So I hope you guys like the movie. If you do like the movie, just tell me why in the comments below. If you feel the same way I do, let me know that too. I'd love to read some of your guys' comments. So let me know. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will talk to you guys soon.